Hard Goals, Planning for Success. The most successful people tend to have hard goals. For goals to be hard, they must be heartfelt, animated, required, and difficult. Let's consider this question. What do Steve Jobs and a 3-year-old have in common? Jobs' goal is to reinvent industries with new technologies, while the 3-year-old's goal is to simply get a cookie. Although these two goals seem different, they both include an element of emotion and visibility. They are perceived to be a necessity and push the limits for each person. In other words, both goals are hard. Let's start by examining the H component of hard goals. Heartfelt goals require individuals to have a sincere connection to their goal. People usually stick to goals they are passionate about, and without this heartfelt connection, goals are susceptible to failure. In examining the heartfelt component of hard goals, it is important to ask this fundamental question: why do you care about this goal? This simple question is an accurate way to predict whether someone will stick to their goal or abandon their goal at the first sign of trouble. It is important to analyze the use of nouns and pronouns in the answer to this question. Using words like me, mine, and I indicates a deep commitment and emotional tie to the goal, whereas words like his, hers, or theirs indicates a more superficial connection to the goal. Although the emotional attachment to a goal is important, emotions are only part of the story. A goal's success also requires the analytical part of the brain to ensure that the goal is practically carried out. While you are less likely to succeed if you only use the analytical part of your brain, there needs to be a balanced combination of emotions and practicality. When working towards a goal, you should consider how to build and maintain a heartfelt connection through 3 approaches. An intrinsic connection occurs when you develop a heartfelt connection to the goal itself. A personal connection occurs when you develop a heartfelt connection to the person you are doing the goal for, and an extrinsic connection occurs when you develop a heartfelt connection to the goal's payoff. Intrinsic connections can be effective because they revolve around a pre-existing motivation. You are more likely to be motivated to do something that you already love doing. 2 opposing forces are in play when dealing with intrinsic motivation. Shoves are issues that demotivate you, drain your energy, and make you want to give up. Tugs are those issues that motivate and fulfill you and keep you working towards your goal. You must acknowledge the shoves in your life to obtain greater tugs towards your goal. When creating personal connections to a goal, you must individualize and personalize. The individual perspective involves achieving goals by making them your own. Personalizing requires individuals to relate to goals and view them through a personal connection. Advertising is most effective when consumers can relate to the product that is being sold, as exemplified through the classic Mac versus PC ad campaign.
I'm a Rutgers University HRM student.
And I'm the generic HRM student.
Rutgers HRM program is internationally renowned for its research and teaching in the areas of strategic human resource management, global employment strategies, new approaches to worker involvement, and the transformation of work.
My program offers something like that.
Rutgers HRM program is set up to be convenient for you. We have a wide range of course offerings during both the day and night. For you morning birds along with you night owls. If you have a job during the week, we have Saturday classes. Enrollment can be part-time or full-time. Courses can be also made available off-campus in partnership with corporations and other organizations. So we'll make it fit for you, whoever you are.
We have classes too. Some classes, you know what, will get you where you need to be.
Our graduates are employed in major corporate government and nonprofit organizations around the globe, such as GE, IBM, and Johnson & Johnson, along with many others.
Our graduates do get jobs somewhere.
Extrinsic motivations can hurt an individual's commitment to their goal because they are only motivated by the reward. However, the incentive can also be useful. In some situations, the incentive can increase the intrinsic motivation and eventually strengthen the individual as well. Let's move on to the A component of hard goals. The A component concerns animated goals. Concepts and goals are more likely to be remembered if presented as pictures or images rather than words. Picturing your goals helps to animate them, and this improves your understanding and increases your chance of realizing the goal. There are a variety of ways to animate your goals. Some strategies include using actual pictures, drawings, visualizing the goal, recalling memories, and using language filled with imagery. Visualization is an effective way to remain motivated when working towards a goal. Although useful, the visualization process also has a few drawbacks, as it can be hard to visualize and animate too many goals. This is especially true in the financial and corporate sectors, where goals are more abstract. To resolve animation issues, translate goals in the financial or corporate world to numbers. Numbers can break down and distinguish one goal from another while providing adequate imagery to help fortify goals. The magic of numbers is that they are an easy and efficient way to measure progress. Goals that are animated deliver better results and outcomes and help to improve process stimulation. It is important to use a first-person perspective when animating your goal because this allows you to claim ownership over your goal and personalize your accomplishments. There are a few important steps to follow when animating your goal. Start by conceptualizing and thinking of the goal you want to achieve. Next, visualize your goal in the first person before writing it down on paper. Writing the goal on paper increases the chance of you remembering and accomplishing your goal. Now let's discuss the R component of hard goals. The most successful goals are required because they contain an element of necessity. Requirement results in urgency and commitment, which cause you to invest more energy in achieving your goal. If a goal is not required, it is much easier to procrastinate. Procrastination is one of the greatest hindrances in goal achievement. The three words that are the greatest goal killers are, "I'll start tomorrow," because tomorrow usually means never. People self-report that procrastination has hindered their happiness in some way. We tend to procrastinate on the things that hurt us financially, physically, and emotionally. On average, procrastination when doing taxes costs $400 per person in last-minute mistakes. Many people make excuses to avoid exercising and eating healthy, and this is a common example of how procrastination can have adverse physical effects. We tend to value things in the present more than we value things in the future. For example, we would almost always prefer an offer of $100 now versus the same offer of $100 in the future. Discount rate refers to the extra money you need to be offered in the future in order to accept the future payout over the immediate payoff. For example, if $150 1 year in the future is equivalent to $100 now, divide the $50 increase by the current dollar rate to obtain the discount rate of 50%.
You might want to lose a little weight and get that beach body that you've been dreaming of. You may also really love cake. When you're out to eat, you may be faced with a mouth-wateringly delectable cupcake. We tend to value our present more than our future. That 5 minutes of sweet cupcake ecstasy that can happen right now seems much more appealing in that moment than a hypothetical futuristic beach bod that is many months of cakeless nights away.
There is an important relationship between time and goals because our goals can be influenced by our perception of time. Procrastination can hinder the success of our goals. By valuing the present more than the future, we can become distracted from working towards our goals. Because we overestimate the amount of free time we will have in the future, we limit our ability to accomplish our goals in a timely manner. To overcome obstacles that come with managing time and goal accomplishment, consider these 6 tricks. Put your present costs in the future. Put your future benefits in the present. Make your benefits sound better. Minimize your costs. attack your discount rate directly, and limit your choices to ensure that you focus on the goal. The endowment effect is a psychological bias discovered by Richard Thaler. It occurs when people place higher value on objects they own than on objects they do not own. Animating your goals allows for the goal to come alive in your head as you conceptualize it. This conceptualization makes the goal your own and enables you to take mental ownership over the goal in your mind's eye. By claiming ownership over the goal, it becomes hard for anyone or anything to take the goal away from you because you have already visualized the accomplishment of the goal. Finally, let's discuss the D component of hard goals. Difficult goals are hard to do, demand a lot of effort, and usually force you to learn something new. Because of this, they become people's most noteworthy accomplishments. Although difficult goals are challenging, they leave you feeling proud, confident, and satisfied. Setting difficult goals brings out the best in people and does not allow them to settle for mediocrity. We have the natural ability to achieve remarkably difficult goals. When people underperform, it is usually because of a lack of motivation rather than a lack of raw talent. Raw talent is not the predominant determinant of success. What matters more is desire, hard work, and ambition to tackle difficult goals. Scientific studies provide evidence that people who are given specific difficult goals achieve much greater performance levels than people who are given weaker goals and told to do their best. The just try message is not enough because people will not put in adequate effort to reach their potential. People are more motivated when they are challenged by a difficult goal. Difficult goals work because they force people to pay attention, as people cannot get through them with ease. Difficult goals are effective because they consume a lot of your brain's resources and crowd out a variety of less important distractions. Finally, difficult goals convey the message that your work is important. People won't spend time or energy to create difficult goals that are useless. Setting and tracking your goals helps you reach your difficult goals. You should set your goals against other past goals and compare the level of difficulty. Set goals in the middle of your comfort zone to ensure that you are challenging yourself without being unrealistic or causing too much stress. The cutting in half method helps you reach your goal by setting halfway markers for completing parts of your goal. It can be useful to call a friend and ask them to occasionally check your progress and help to keep you motivated.
One technique for accomplishing your goal involves the cutting in half method. Say your goal is to increase annual revenue by $500,000 in 1 year. Once you have set that goal, you should cut the time frame in half and determine what you have to accomplish at the halfway point to achieve the full hard goal. In this case, it would be to make $250,000 in 6 months. Now cut that 6-month time frame in half to 3 months and determine what needs to be done to ensure that you are on track to achieve your 6-month target. Now your goal is to make $125,000 in 3 months. This process may seem tedious, but the purpose is threefold. First, it shows you exactly where and how to start pursuing your hard goal. Second, it monitors and keeps you on track to achieve your hard goal. And third, the process ensures that you are doing something each day to pursue your full goal.
In conclusion, remember to keep your goals heartfelt, animated, required, and difficult. No matter how big or small, hard goals ensure that your efforts will be successful and rewarding.